In this video, I'm going to tell you my best techniques on how to stop binge eating when you're anxious. I think it would help you to understand why exactly you're wanting to binge when you're in this anxious state. Basically, when you're down or anxious or anything less than just whatever is normal for you, your brain starts to crave some happy hormones. And it knows that if you eat these delicious foods, then it will release a boost of serotonin. And it knows that if you eat these delicious fatty, sugary foods, then it will give you a massive hit of serotonin. This raises your mood very high for a very short period of time, as you probably already know, and then will naturally plummet it again after an hour or two. So pretty much the science says eating crap when you're anxious or sad is very good in the short term, but just generally is terrible for the dips in the long term, not to mention your overall physical health. So this leads me on to my first tip on how to stop binge eating. This is a bit of a broad one, but my top tip is to find other ways to relieve your anxiety. What I like to do when I'm anxious is to remember a quick checklist. My first thing is to relax my jaw and then relax my shoulders. Even just filming this video, they were high up. This is them relaxed. This is what they were like. Then what I like to do is look around the room or wherever it is I am, pick out 3 things. For example, behind me you can see bed, door, and photos up in the back there. Then what I like to do is, as long as it's not a person, or if it is a person and they give you consent, go up and touch all of these things and feel exactly what they feel like. And if you do it correctly, it will just take the anxiety away and make you focus solely on what it is that you're touching. So if it's the door, you'll feel how smooth it is. Then what I like to do is close my eyes and do my best to clear my mind. Now, I say do my best because let's face it, clearing your mind, especially when you're in an anxious state, is basically impossible. But yeah, close your eyes, clear your mind, and then take a slow, deep breath in through your nose for 7 seconds. So just something like this. Hold it for 2 seconds and then let it out through pursed lips for around 11 seconds, as long as it's longer than the inhale. You can do this as many times as you like, but I wouldn't recommend doing it for more than a couple of minutes, otherwise you won't have any extra effects really. Another thing I like to do is to go and do your hobby. This is basically another way to release happy hormones without actually eating. And if eating is your hobby, then sorry. This can be anything though. It doesn't have to be a hobby as such, just anything that makes you happy. It could be watching a film or a TV show or something like that you like, just going and talking to someone, anything like that. Anything that isn't eating, basically. And to be honest, a lot of you will get anxious at work, which is something I'm also subject to sometimes, and in which case doing a hobby isn't really an option. So my other top tip here would be to do some deep breathing. Now you can do this at your desk. As long as you're not speaking to someone in the office, you can do this without anybody else knowing. This is where you breathe deeply down into your stomach, so much so that your stomach literally kind of pops out as you're doing it. You can really feel the bottom of your lungs filling up. The key is to do it very slowly and very controlled, and it can take a little bit of practice, but it's also important not to strain yourself. I recommend closing your eyes, breathing deep for 10 seconds, then releasing for 10 seconds. And I'd recommend again to do this for a couple of minutes. Finally, it's a bit of a costly tip, but I recommend getting some therapy or some counseling. It's something that I went through and it's nothing to fear. It really, really helped me with my binge eating and anxiety issues. It's always really helpful to speak to people and let them know how you're feeling. Even if it's not a therapy or a paid counsellor or anything like that, I recommend speaking to a friend or family member. Please subscribe if you're new, hit the bell to get notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.